from a purely economic point of view, the consensus seems to be now that this is akin to a natural disaster. The first chart on the left shows the labor market unemployment rate during Katrina in Louisiana and the COVID crisis. And those are the two sort of steep lines down. The very smooth line actually is the unemployment rate during the financial crisis. So the big difference is that this is, sort of like a natural disaster. The economy just stopped. You didn't see the rolling over the economy wasn't the result of excesses building up in one or two segments of the economy. It wasn't, even though we think of the financial crisis as a very acute incident, from an economic perspective, what took place, particularly from an employment point of view, was a very different scenario. And on the right-hand side, you can see that the recovery rate in labor employment is very closely tracking that of Katrina. So this is giving people a lot of hope. I'll talk about it in a second. This is one of the reasons that the market, equity markets are reacting so well. I should say, since March 11th, and the S&P is actually up 14%. Again, that was the day it was declared a pandemic. So from the high, we're down, but this is giving a lot of people hope for that V recovery that you're talking about, that you probably keep hearing about in labor markets. We don't think, we think these estimates are overly optimistic, and sort of the shutdown might have a very similar nature to a hurricane or an earthquake. We think the rebuilding will be very different. After a hurricane or an earthquake, you don't have a risk of going to work. I mean, as long as the virus has not been eradicated, we don't think economic activity is going to get back to usual. So we understand that this is tracking very closely so far, and this has given people a lot of optimism, but we're less optimistic that we're going to stay on this trajectory.